Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM21 Build a Nation story from Bangor City with me, Daniel. It's part 13 today and we're coming up towards the winter period. We're coming towards the halfway point of the league season and we're starting to run into a few troubles. So if you're looking forward to all of today's action, please do put a thumbs up on the video. We are top of the table, but it might not stay that way. TNS are starting to get on a roll. And we're coming up to some big problem times as the January window looms. So if you want to stay up to date with all of the content on this series and the head coach as well, please do subscribe down below. Turn that notification bell on to get alerts every time a new episode releases, as well as every time we go live on the channel too. And of course, thank you again for your incredible support across the channel. It really is greatly appreciated. But let's start today with the league, because we're 7 points clear. It all looks rosy and fine, which is great. But it isn't quite as clear as that. If we go and have a look at the results, we were obviously here last time for TNS and Connah's Quay. Today we've got Connah's Quay, who held us in that day, and Bala, who battered us in the League Cup earlier this season. And since then, it's been a bit of a weird spell. We had this awful drab 1-0 defeat at home the following week, in a game picked as a fan day, and it didn't inspire, let's be honest. Kretschmar scored a great strike, otherwise we were uninspiring. We won 3-0 away at Haverfordwest, a brace off the bench for Henry Jones and a goal from James Boot. After a poor first half again, we had to be saved by the super subs. But then we thought we were finding a bit of form. In November, we beat second place at the time Cardiff Met Uni 6-0, Kretschmar, Spencer and Fanian with a brace apiece, and then a 5-1 win away at Aberystwyth, Fanian with a hat-trick and then Goodrich and Craig with one each. But then again, we just dried up with the goals. A 0-0 draw at home to 11th place Flint Town and a very lucky narrow victory at home to Swansea Uni in the Cup. Boot and McLagan got the goals there and it was a 2-1 result in the end. But to be honest, late on, they looked like getting an equaliser. So today, I don't really know what to expect. We've got 16 days between these matches, which does make it a little bit more difficult as well. I thought it might be freed up for the Welsh Cup, but that wasn't the case at all. So after all these sort of 2 and 3 games a week earlier in the season, we've now got a 2.5 week break before winter as well. Unless it is a winter break in Wales. I can't claim to know if they have one or not usually. But that's the position we're in. Going into the game, I'm not particularly confident. And one of the other things that worries me after these 2 games is that the loan deals our director of football brought in, they all expire in January. Apart from Bolton, who was done in the summer, but Craig, Gutierrez and Quay all go on the 1st of January. Now, we can't extend the loans because everything we do for a transfer or loan deal, Serafino, the chairman, blocks. So our director of football has to make those offers. I can't get him to do it. What we are hoping for in the next 3 weeks, before then, but not after, or it could be a problem, is that Domenico Serafino is perhaps taken out of the club because, despite the amount he's done to save Bangor City, he seems to have had enough. We've been linked with local investors, consortiums and all sorts, and the owner status on the club vision page has now changed. It says there's a consortium bid in the offing. However, it's said that for a month and a half and nothing concrete has happened. So what I am worried about is if this happens at the start of January, we're going to lose the whole window. And what's more worrying about that is our finances are in an awful state. So if someone comes in for one of our players, they're likely to be sold off. So I'm a little bit concerned about all of this. Then add to that the fact that Gregor Zabret is wanted by our title rivals TNS. We could yet have a January disaster. It looks brilliant at the moment, we're 7 points clear, but after the early European matches, TNS are now playing league games and league games only. And they are back in form. They won 7-1 in the Cup against lower league opposition. They're winning league games every week now. And if we don't get results in these 2 games, we could be in a spot of bother. So we start today against Connah's Quay. We're playing on a Friday, TNS away to Flint Town tomorrow. So it gives us a chance to get ahead in the race. But let's see if we can do so. Connah's Quay held us last time, they're a good side. And are we looking to do the same again? Owen Moore's out with a knock, so we've had to rotate a little bit. But otherwise, it's basically our first 11 still. And what that does mean is we thought about putting Coyle right back for a while. But in the end, we've opted against it. It means that Ted Morden's going to have to go out there. Ericsson will play centre-half. And we've still got the likes of Boot on the bench coming back from yet another injury. And Owen Moore out as well. We've had a few troubles with that. But Fanian's still scoring. Kretschmar still creating. And defensively we still look good. So we've got Zabret in goal for today's game. Possibly off to TNS. We'll have to wait and see in January. Malden and Bolton in the fullback roles with Harbottle and Ericsson at centre-half. we've got Coyle, Goodrich, Craig and Kretschmar, the midfield four in that narrow diamond, and Fanian alongside Spencer up front. Just struggling for form realistically. Has a great game where he scores 2 goals and then goes 5 without. It's a little bit frustrating because O'Grady was consistent last year, albeit at a lower level, and we'll be hoping that we can fare better today. So let's go and get into the first of the double header and see if we can get on top of Connah's Quay. Well, of course, our visitors today have Joe Healy on the bench. The man they signed from us in the summer is declining physically quite quickly now. They've got some good players in the squad. Craig Curran, a hero for us last season, of course. He was at Cliftonville, the Northern Irishman. He's now playing for Connah's Quay. Callum Preston's in goal. Braden Shaw, an attacking player. Good quality from him. And Danny Holmes, the skipper at the back. They've got a good squad. They've had a pretty average season so far, but they did well against us last time, and I don't hold a huge amount of confidence today. But let's see what the first half brings. We've got an early throw on the right with Ted Malden. It's flicked into the box. We've still got this kick clash problem, unfortunately, as Liam Coyle picks it up in holding midfield. He goes wide to Malden, into Kretschmar, Goodrich, Coyle, out to Malden again. Plenty of time to overlap, chance to cross. He's got to the byline, and he's gone all the way back to Coyle. He's got time on the ball, but that's not what we wanted. The lack of ambition there, to be honest. Eriksson over the top. He's put Fanian in. Oh, lucky as you like. Eriksson caught all of the defence out. And Fanian, with his 20th of the season in all competitions, slides it with composure into the bottom left-hand corner. 1-0 to Bangor City. The perfect start. And we've got a free kick with Ted Malden again into the back post. Harbottle's there. Maybe Connah's Quay won't be a problem today. 2-0 in 12 minutes. It's been easy stuff. And I can't see us losing from here. We don't concede many goals, and we scored with our first 2 shots. Certainly the perfect combination. And remarkably, that's how the half finishes. The only 2 shots on target were the 2 Bangor City goals. Not the best chances in the world. Fanian took his brilliantly. Harbottle made a great run from a set piece. But we're going to tell the lads to prove a point. I really want to put out a statement in this one. I want it to be 4-5. Put pressure on TNS. See if they can react against Flint, who of course set up 5-4-1, held us really well. As Curran picks it up in the middle for them. We will take a look at him after, because of course a bit of a hero for Cliftonville. We'll see how he's getting on. But he's here on the right hand side. Switch of play. Finds White the left back to Braden Shaw. He's got time to run at Malden, but we're getting well there. You can see the central players in the diamond, not afraid to get wide to defend. But that ball over the top finds Ebb, and it's a great save by Zabret. If he goes to TNS, it will make such a big difference. Not just because we haven't got another senior keeper, but because he's a top quality one as well. The corner's headed away by Coyle, not a good delivery at all. And Watts puts it in again, Curran heads on. And the first shot on target for Connah's Quay, I think. Of course they had the one for the corner too, but very quickly they've gone on top on a shot count, as Fanian picks it up on the right hand side. Again dallying in possession. They've been the better side this half, and Ebb's in again. He's 1-on-1, so Brett has to come to the rescue for the 2nd time in succession. And what has happened in the first 15 minutes of this half? We're going to demand a bit more, or ask them to focus, because it just seems to have fallen away, the performance. And Connah's Quay will count themselves unlucky not to have scored yet, as Kretschmar loses out on the edge of the box. It's a long ball forward, and Ebb is chasing Eriksson. It looks like the centre-half will win that. It's just whether he does the right thing with it. Goes back to Zabret, who finds Harbottle. Chance to bring out to Coyle, and he goes into midfield. Spencer holds up. Poor pass back, but Craig recycles it, and Malden finds Coyle again. We've got to make the most of those 2 lone players, because they will be going back, and Goodrich will become a star then, and he's becoming a star now with that through ball. Fanian's first shot saved, the rebound is in. I thought he was offside, to tell you the truth, but the 3rd goal goes in. It's a comfortable victory, and now we can think about our 16-day rest, and being top of the table come the new year. I'm going to make a couple of changes at the back as well. I'm going to take off Kretschmar in number 10. He's just coming back to fitness, so we'll bring on Henry Jones. We'll also take off Spencer, who's been poor up front. Chris O'Grady will get a game. And Thomason doesn't often make the bench, so we'll give him an outing. Ted Malden can have a break because, of course, he needs to rest for minutes. He was one of the few that struggled physically towards the end of last year, and he's such a key player for us at the back. So we'll keep him fit with 15 to go, and hope we can see out this comfortable 3-0 win. And here we are back in stoppage time. It looks like we've done enough. I'd like to keep the clean sheet. It nearly went away there though, more with a thunderous effort from the edge of the box. Clattered off the outside of the post. And despite it being a fairly even game, we did enough. It's a 3-0 victory. We were really clinical, which we haven't always been this season. and I'm impressed with the performance. The lads are inspired. We increase our lead to 10 points ahead of the TNS game tomorrow. So let's skip ahead and firstly see what the result of that one is, and then we'll be back on Boxing Day to face Bala. Well, part 1 is very unsurprising. TNS get their victory. Cardiff met Uni, Connah's Quay and Barry keep the pressure on. There are 3 points behind TNS, but TNS are the main title rivals. 7 points behind, they'll go big in January. And we've got a lot of problems to come. So let's skip ahead to Boxing Day. One more game before all the loanees go back. And we have to get 3 points if we're to have a chance. We'll see you there. Well, we've got one other little surprise in between here. We've got our youth intake preview. Now, last year, we had a poor head of youth development who promised us a golden generation. And realistically, it was an okay generation, not golden. This time, we're sort of having it played down by John Quinn. The new head of youth development knows his stuff from Ballina Millard. But he has said there's one top prospect in centre midfield and one good young Welsh central midfielder from Bangor. So it looks like there is one player to keep an eye on. Perhaps he'll be quality and the rest will be rubbish. We'll take it. If we've got one star that can come through, we'll definitely be happy. Let's see if that's the case in April. But back ahead to Bala. They've lost their league game, incidentally. A poor start to the season for them, and we'll be up against them next. 14 days' time after all the festivities. Boxing Day, it's derby time. It's Bangor City v Bala. TNS have been taunting us over the last couple of weeks. News announcements galore about them extending loans till the end of the season. And not only are we not able to do that, we've also lost one of them early due to injury. Liam Coyle out with pulled ankle ligaments. Leaves us slightly short in midfield. Macaulay Flanagan's got a hernia, the young star, who is just working his way in as well. An assist off the bench in his first league appearance. But our injuries are down generally, so we've got to be a bit more cautious. We've got to try and be grateful for that. And we have to try and win today. TNS 7 behind. It could be 4 if we lose and they win. I think we're still unbeaten in the league as well, so we've got to keep that run going. I know there's been a fair few draws, but it's been a really good display. We're going to bring Boot in to play alongside Craig. We're going to drop Goodridge to the holding role. Garcia's on the bench there. Owen Moore is back to fitness. He will start ahead of Ericsson. And Ericsson will make his way in as a substitute, as will Ben Atkinson. So there's our substitutes bench for today. There's our squad. The one returning player from injury, Moore replacing Ericsson with Malden into centre half. And then the one enforced change due to injury, which is Goodrich dropping to the holding role and Boot coming in for the injured Coyle. Into the game we go. Could be the final one for the club for Craig. Could be the final one for Gutierrez off the bench. Let's see how they get on. Let's see how we get on as we go into the derby. Can we get the victory? Let's go and find out. A fair few familiar names in this Bala team. Anthony Kay's there in midfield now. Former player in England, of course. Chris Venable's always been one of the best rated players in this league. They've got a left back we're very familiar with. Rhys Davis in goal is a good player. They've got the likes of Pavel Vieira on the bench. Nathan Peat, Charlie Edge. I recognise a lot of names. But are they good enough to beat us? Let's go and show them what we're made of. Let's get the fist pumping. We've got most of them motivated. Now let's get a response. Into the first half we go. Well, 15 minutes on the clock. No highlights yet, but a few alarming stats coming from the match area. 3 shots, 1 on target for Bala. No shots for us. There is a big worry there. Although we're not conceding chances. A 0-0 might not be a disaster. 10 to the break. I don't know if TNS are playing at the moment. Let's go to the latest scores. They are. They're drawing with Pennybont. So that looks good for us. Let's go back to the Bala formation and let's see it through to half time. Well, that is a drab half of football. And this is sort of what I mean. We have games where we're really clinical, then games where we don't create anything. Obviously, Bala are playing the narrow 4-2-3-1, which really does work against us. It's the one formation and tactic we seem to have struggled with, because we're getting outplayed in the middle. We haven't got that quality. But here's more to Goodrich. The holding midfielder, dropping in for today, extra responsibility and extra time on the ball, as Craig finds Malden to Moore. Don't know if he'll do 90 yet, but Malden's on a yellow, so there's a lot of decisions to make back there. As Moore goes over the top, Price heads away. Fanian would have been in without that. As Felipe goes back, he scored in the League Cup tie that we lost 3-0, and it's back to Evans in the holding role. Out wide right to Lewis, and of course no TNS or Bangor in the League Cup, so it could be lower opposition again that win it. Cooper goes long, Harbottle heads away, only as far as Lewis at right back. He's through, it's going to be 1-0, is it? Correa's in, Zabret to the rescue. How many times have we said that today? 4 minutes gone in the second half, and Zabret is the only thing that is keeping us level. As the left back takes the corner, an outswinger, and it's a good save from Zabret again. Two very good chances to start the half from Bala, and we count ourselves lucky to be level. But it looks like TNS are throwing away their opportunity. They're still level as well because the gap is still 7 points on that league table. And if they can nick a winner, we're in trouble here. But let's go to the tactics. Kretschmar, after a brilliant season, just tailing off the last few games. Henry Jones, he's been a super sub before. We'll hope for the same today. Jimmy Spencer's nervous. Chris O'Grady's motivated. On he comes. Owen Moore's been poor at right back, so I'm going to make the usual sub. Ericsson centre half, Malden to right back, and 20 minutes to go and find a winner. Well, I'm becoming very frustrated now. There's just 10 minutes left, and the only positive I've got is that TNS haven't scored either. And if they waste the opportunity to catch us, I'll be delighted. Because it doesn't matter if we draw games now, as long as they do as well. They're the only ones who'll catch us, and Harbottle's put O'Grady in! Oh, he's offside! That could have been the crowning moment for the experienced pro. It's not to be, but TNS is still 7 behind. We are watching that like a hawk. As we go into stoppage time, we're going to draw this game. It's a disappointing 0-0 draw. But the good news is, I think TNS have made the same mistake. If they've drawn 0-0 too, we're in good shape. But let's see if they nicked a winner. They didn't. TNS have wasted their chance. Cardiff met Uni back within 2 of them. It's hotting up a little bit, but we could have been 5 points off there. And with what's happening in January, I wouldn't have been confident. As it is, TNS are giving us something to cheer about. Pennybottom actually come off the bottom with that point. And that's about as good as we could hope for. I mean, Bala, it's an improvement on the League Cup tie. But they are a side constantly giving us problems. And in the derby, we face them again away from home next week. And that does concern me. A week to go to the transfer window. We keep the unbeaten run going. But there's been more messages about the takeover that isn't really happening. Nothing's progressing, although it has changed now. It says Serafino's enjoying his time at the club and intends on being here a long time. Never said that before. So what's going on here is a very changing situation. But we're in a good position. We're in a good state in the league. We're 7 points clear. And even though we dropped points there against Bala, TNS did not take advantage. So it's going to be close, but coming into the mid-season break, of course, once we get to that stage, we'll be playing the top 6 twice more. And that's generally where we've struggled more, whereas TNS have dropped silly points. So it could be at that stage that TNS be the beneficiaries. But if we keep the distance, that's all we can ask for. We've got the Welsh Cup as well, but European football all but guaranteed. We just need a top 3 finish or a cup win, and I'm fairly confident we'll get one of those. What will happen in the January window, I just don't know. We'll either be back for the 4th round of the Cup, depending on who we get in the draw, or we'll be back for deadline day, and whatever the first game is after that, which will be one after the league split. So it'll definitely be the big boys we're facing. And the only positive is, it looks like Bala are finishing 7th, so we might well avoid the rivals. So all of that to come next time out. I hope you'll come and join me. But if you did enjoy this one and being pegged back in the derby, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on for daily FM21 content from this long-term story and the head coach as well. You'll receive notifications every time we go live to stream. And of course you can catch up with the podcast channel in the eye above. Interviews with loads of pro footballers, including some based in Wales. And I really hope you enjoy that because we have a great time making it and it's growing really rapidly. But a massive thank you for your support, for coming along and watching this one as well. We're in charge of the title race, but we're still dropping silly points. I'm not 100% confident just yet. We'll be back for transfer deadline day and I'll see you there. Thanks for watching.